All right, welcome to day two for A Job Seeker Asks. I'm Scott Engler, author, coach, public speaker on contemporary job search strategies and transitioning a career. So, for our second question, Caitlin from Chicago asks, Scott, I'm feeling stuck in between the retail world and where I want to be in the corporate world. I finished my college classes, but unfortunately, I have one more class that I can't take until the summertime based on the way that they offer it. I'm wondering if I will be able to be hired on at a good company when I'm still one credit short of a degree, or if I'll have to wait another 6 months. The lack of a degree has been keeping me out of HR, so my disappointment comes from having to wait longer. Well, Caitlin, thank you so much for your question, and this is a very common type of question, that kind of waiting period and that feeling of not having the necessary experience to get hired on. So my answer to this would be to for you to ask a different question. So it's, instead of waiting 6 months, the question you could be asking is, what steps can I take right now to get me to where I want to be as soon as it's possible? And the truth is that different companies work different ways with their requirements, and some have a little more flexibility. For example, when I was in the corporate world and I was registered as a clinician with my intern number, but I was still working towards licensure hours, many companies would hire you on, and they would kind of hire you on at a pre-licensure status. So they would see that you're registered through the board, you had completed your master's degree, and they would, see that you're working towards getting your license and that you're planning on, finishing your hours by this date. So a lot of times that was enough information. So sometimes it works this way with other things, sometimes it doesn't. It really just depends. But I think the important thing here, for Caitlin, is what could she do right now? Does she have an internship? I mean, one option would be that she could always get an internship at the company she really wants to work at, and maybe they pay her, maybe they don't. But if she's going to be just going to school anyway for the next 6 months, maybe she could be training under someone at the position she really wants, or maybe she could be clear in her interview that she wants to start at like maybe an HR assistant position, but she really wants to be an HR director eventually. And so what happens a lot of times is when you show that initiative, and if you're showing that you're really naturally talented at what you do, companies will hire you on after you have that degree that they need to put on paper to just make it look more legit. So again, it just really depends, but there's always options of what you could do. And it reminds me of a story of Melissa, who's one of the people featured in my last book, Legends of the Recruiting and Career World, and I featured successful stories of job seekers. She got an internship at this company while she was still in school, and she actually, before she was going to finish, like a few months before she was going to get her degree, she really reached out to the people that she had been working under and just took a very proactive approach in actually creating her own position within that company. And she did. She got hired as soon as she graduated for the company she was interning for. And now she's actually, in the last 2 years, worked her way up to where she's the program director there. So it just goes to show you that there's always a creative option available, and you never know until you go for it. So that is my answer to this question. Hope it was helpful. And if you do have questions that you would like to ask me, I am taking them from people from all different parts of the world. This is part of a 30-day, 30-question series. Feel free to email your questions for between now and the end of November to buildingyourownbrand@gmail.com. Once again, that's buildingyourownbrand@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me, Scott Engler, Engler, on LinkedIn, and send me a message there. So thank you so much, and until next time, take care.